You don't understand what's happening here. I'm in God mode nowadays, son. I'm the tribal chief. I'm the head of your table. I'm the provider around here, huh? I'm the greatest of this generation, no questions asked. I'm the greatest universal champion of all time, which makes me the greatest to ever do this.
You know, I really wish I could use Roman Reigns' entrance music to start the video, but I can't, cause copyright and all that good shit, you know. But hey, yo, welcome back to Wrasslin with Saint. Yo, it's been a motherfucking minute. Yo, I gotta address something real fast though, cause I saw Marcus Smart tweeted some of the stupidest shit I ever seen in my life. This motherfucker tweeted a quote that Bill what's my man name? Bill Russell told him, I think it was. If they paying you $5, work like you make $7. Always work harder. What? Bruh, it's 2022, bruh. If somebody paying you $5, for one, smack them. Two, if you accept to work for $5, smack yourself. On top of that, if you working for, now let's put these in realistic terms. Let's say a company paying you $9. You better not go in that motherfucker putting in $10, $20 worth of work, bro. No, sir. And listen, there's going to be some people out there that confuse that type of, that right there for, oh, you lazy, you ain't committed to work. No, those things are not mutually exclusive. Okay? Y'all got to open up your brains and stop being so damn brain dead. It's called critical thinking. Now, I understand what Marcus Smart was saying. And you people do too. That's why you understanding what he is saying should have led you. Well, no, because, you know, some people understood what he was saying. Then there's some people who legitimately was agreeing with it. The thing that's wild to me is ESPN and these goofs retweeting it. But listen, for people who haven't entered the work world yet, I understand that you look at a lot of TV and things like that, and you might believe that working hard in a company will lead you to promotions and all these type of great things. And in some places of business, that is a true statement at times in some organizations. But the reality is, if I have a CEO of a company who is unbelievable at his job or her job, I'm not replacing that motherfucker just because the person under them worked just as hard. That's not how this thing go. I hate to tell you this, but in a lot of different realities, meaning in a lot of different work environments and whatnot, in the average workplaces, the hardest worker is not the highest paid worker. And the hardest working motherfucker is probably the most irritated motherfucker in the place, because he or she know that they ain't getting paid what they should be getting paid. And they probably look at managers do not nearly the work that they do. And so the reality is, working hard do not lead you to promotions and things of that nature. That's just not the way this thing works. Most of the time when you a hard worker, you're going to get exploited in these businesses, because they're going to look at you and they're going to talk nice to you, because that's what they have to do. They know if they talk nice to you, treat you good, make you feel like you're important, they can get away with not paying you a certain amount of money. And because you work as hard as you do, they know they can throw you on all type of things to do. I know, because I used to be that type of worker. And then I sat down one day and realized, bro, I'm going in circles working for these companies. I don't make nowhere near what I'm supposed to get paid. I'm here night and day all week. One day off ain't enough no more. I wanted to be one thing coming up, and I ain't chased that dream yet. So I'm trying to tell you now, listen, I'm not telling you don't work hard, because I told y'all before on here, you don't have to be signed yet in order to put in that type of like grind. Like, if you really want it, work for it. You might not be getting paid like the top analysts. You might not get paid at all yet. But if you continue to put in the grind, hopefully, if you great enough, if you good enough, if you consistent, you put in that work, maybe somebody hear you one day and you find a way to get put on or something like that. That's completely different than if you make $5, work like you make $7. No, that's fucking stupid. And I will not have that type of buffoonery spread. It's not gonna happen. But the next thing I guess I have to talk about. Sasha Banks and Naomi. So this is a very interesting subject because I don't know where I land on this topic, but maybe y'all figure out where I land on it by the end of it. So what's very interesting. So I don't know if this is scripted or not, because at first I thought it was scripted, but now based off of Pat McAfee's reaction, I don't think it's scripted. And based off of the fact they finna have a tournament, I don't think this is scripted. I think this actually might be legitimately real. But I think they not firing them, and that's why, it's done been loud. I don't know. Maybe it's just full transparency. I don't know. But Monday night, Sasha and Naomi, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, we're supposed to be in a 6-pack match, I believe, on Monday Night Raw with Asuka taking on... Who are they supposed to be taking on? Cannot remember the opponents. It was Becky. It was Big Time Bex and somebody else. I can't remember all the opponents, but it's not important right now. And the rumors is saying that they didn't like the creative and things of that nature. I'm gonna address all this type of things in one go, basically. So let's address people who say they feel like Sasha. Okay, so actually, let me tell you where I land. Nope, matter of fact, I'll tell you then. No, let me go ahead and tell you where I land. So, do I think it was okay, I'm addressing this from if this really was not scripted, these are my opinions on it. If it was not scripted. If it was scripted, then this is one of the greatest script jobs of all time. This is one of the greatest works of all time. If this was not scripted, and this was legitimately some shit like the CM Punk Stone Cold type legit walkout, then personally, I do not agree with them walking out because you are champions. I understand that you don't like. I don't want to get in completely to my whole thoughts, but I'm gonna say I don't agree with them walking out because they champions. They are like leaders. They set the example. It's real CM Punkish to me in a sense for Sasha, and I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. And I just think when you are Sasha I'm going to just get into it now. So, because basically if I tell you my opinion, then it's going to be basically me having to go through the whole thing like this. So I'm going to just break it down like that. So let's address people who say they deserve to walk out. They should have walked out because, they ain't treated the way they feel like they should be treated. Okay, I just want to stop you right there. Let's not confuse Sasha and Naomi, okay? I understand you thinking that Naomi haven't been booked the way you think she should have been booked over the last couple of years, even though you would be taking into account that you're ignoring all the greatness Naomi has had throughout her WWE career, because Naomi has been a champion multiple times. Naomi has been a big-time star multiple times. Naomi is still a big name, which is why you care about her so much when you don't feel like she's being booked the way you want her to be booked. But let's not confuse how y'all have, I guess, in a sense, I can understand it to an extent, why you have that type of thoughts on Naomi. And don't confuse that with Sasha, because Sasha has not been mistreated, misused, and all this type of shit in WWE. Now, it's a difference between being mistreated, misused, and all that type of stuff, and not necessarily having the greatest booking at all times. And one of the things I think people are using to try to justify, they should be booked the way they want, is Roman Reigns. They don't sell like Roman Reigns. And I don't understand how in every part of life, y'all don't understand the person who sell the most. But I love it. What they say, Mike Thompson. Everybody will be treated equal. Everybody will be treated fair. Everybody will not be treated equal. Roman Reigns is the biggest wrestling superstar in the world. Using him as your example is just going to fall on deaf ears every time you use that. You cannot use the dude with the highest selling or woman with the highest and the person with the lowest. You just can't do that. You got to come in between. You got to meet somewhere in the middle. So I don't think that's a justifiable argument, especially when you look at how Charlotte done been booked before. Charlotte went 2 years without being in the championship scene. Now y'all ignore that because now she back in it, even though Sasha is in it. And I really think some of y'all problems have to do with how y'all value titles and how y'all value, where somebody booked and shit. And I really think y'all need to readjust how y'all value shit. Because if y'all didn't demean things and make them feel so little, then it wouldn't feel that way. That's why I have so much respect for The Miz, a dude who make everything feel big, or every wrestler who makes things feel as big as they can possibly be. That's why R-Truth is one of my favorite dudes, because the 24/7 title was, nobody could care less about that title until R-Truth has it, because he make you feel something. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, let's get back to Sasha. So, the people who talk about the booking, oh, they don't listen. I understand not loving being booked a certain type of way. I personally don't think that Sasha and Naomi have been booked bad since they became champions, but I don't think they have been booked great. But the thing is, you can't get from good to great just like that by snapping. It's no way. You have to have competition that can step up and get you there too. That's why I was so heavy when I talked about Natalya and which those might have been who she was supposed to fight on Monday. Natalya and Shayna Baszler. Those they have to help her get there, or help them get there, right? Based on how great they can be too. It's not just booking and all this type of shit. You know, I understand people want to blame WWE and the creative for everything, but it's also the wrestlers got to make it feel important, have to feel, and not just make it feel important. They have to think that it's important. You know, sometimes the biggest superstars just shit on every idea, and you cannot work with somebody who feel like they're too big for every idea. I understand certain ideas being beneath certain people. I get that. I completely get that. But every idea that don't have you winning is not beneath you. And not to mention losing for certain champions actually could make this thing back. Now, for one, I don't know if they was going to win or lose that match anyways. I don't know. But I understand not even wanting to be in that type of match anyways, because of the story progression for you is of no use in a match like that. You should be in a different type of match, or setting up a different type of feud to put some prestige and to build the legacies of this title, and as us as and them to those two as tag team champions. So I get that. If you want to say it was a problem with booking, that's the problem with the booking. Let's get these two out of this, because I never like it when tag team champions is feuding with people outside of the tag team scenes. Like the Usos is one thing, the New Day is one thing. Those are legitimate trios and whatnot, but Sasha and Naomi have no reason to be feuding with tag teams, especially in a division where the tag team scene is not as, great right now as you hope it could be or get to at some point in time. So if you have a problem with booking, that's the problem with booking you should have, not based off of, no, it should be based off of, come on, bro, let's set up a legitimate feud. Let's start to build these things out. Now, a big part of that is, I don't think Sasha and Naomi done lost since winning those titles. Like, I don't think they done lost a match. Like, not just like on pay-per-views, and I don't think they done lost a match since they done won that. And I could be wrong, but I don't think that's necessarily the greatest booking, because you don't want to. I think it's ways to work with, and then they say they went in and threw the titles. Like, everybody throwing titles on the floor nowadays, but. Like, I guess when it come to, like, if they was irritated with the booking and whatnot, I get being irritated with booking. I just don't think that it was whack when Stone Cold walked out. It was whack when CM Punk walked out, even though I'm happy CM Punk walked out, to be completely honest with you. I will never complain about CM Punk walking out of the WWE and never coming back, bro. The day he did that, I was happy as shit, bro. Dead ass. But it is disappointing seeing Sasha and Naomi walk out because of how great they can be, how great they are. And so, if booking as far as the tag team titles and what they done been since that, I get that. But it's ways to work with them on that. Like, it's no way Sasha and Naomi don't have any type of creative control or any type of voices or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no way. It's just no way. Sasha, one of the biggest names in the WWE. It's no way. I refuse to believe that Sasha has absolutely no say whatsoever. There's no shot. So I feel like this might have been something that was building up over time. I don't know. I'm not going to speak on that because that's just an assumption possibly. But it was no way that they had no creative control. Now, if they didn't, wow, that's wild. Because somebody like a Sasha Banks and a Naomi who done so much, and I'm focusing on Sasha because she's the biggest name in all of this. But you look at Sasha, who done been so great for WWE, who done been, and listen, it's a two-way streak. Obviously, she been great for WWE and WWE been great for her. But that's why I don't like it when I see people saying that, oh, Sasha never had a shot. She never been treated right. Are you serious? Sasha Banks is one of the great GOATs of the women's division. You don't get to that without some type of good booking, great booking, and favorable booking. I mean, every time y'all see a champion win against the person y'all want to win nowadays, y'all act like it's just a travesty. That's a subject for a different time, though. But, yeah. I don't think WWE done booked Sasha bad. Like, when Sasha walked out the first time, I didn't think they was booking her bad. Like, I don't like the CM Punk type of mindset. Whereas, I have to always be number one. And if I'm not number one, then I'm not treated right. Because I'm number one. That's a rough person to deal with. Because I done dealt with people like that. And when you in a company with so many talented superstars and men and women fighting to become what you think you are, then it's impossible, unless you're doing this shit like Stone Cold was doing, The Rock, Roman. It's certain gimmicks and characters who ascend the rules of the normal rules of life and things of that nature, if you will. Somebody, and even Roman and The Rock and Stone Cold had to deal with these rules at some point in time. The Rock couldn't always win because Triple H, Stone Cold couldn't always win because of Triple H. The Rock, Triple H couldn't always win because of Stone Cold and The Rock. You just made to believe they did because of beautiful montages and compilations of their greatness. But they all lost. So if losing is a problem that you think is not, and I'm not talking about Sasha and them, I'm talking to the fans who constantly think that losing is such a burden, is such a bad red mark on a player. It's not, okay? The greats lose all the time. Do you know what Roman was before he became the tribal chief, our tribal chief? And actually, I just want to take a minute to acknowledge him. So let's have a moment of silence to acknowledge our tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Thank you, Roman. Love you, Roman. Shout out Tosh Schmidt. But so certain gimmicks, certain characters, obviously, exceed those rules or override those type of rules and whatnot. But I don't even think Sasha been booked bad. Okay, so if you just started watching wrestling lately, I know you might not, you might be watching lately or the last couple years and thinking, oh, because of revisionist history, oh, Sasha haven't been treated good. When Charlotte was on her first top, tier heel run, all right, when she was on Raw, do you remember who she feuded with the majority of the time she was on Raw? I'm talking about when Dana Brooke was her little sidekick. You remember who Charlotte feuded with for the majority of that time? You remember who it was who was taking the title off of her at that time? Sasha. And Sasha wasn't being booked as a transitional champion. She was being booked as a dominant champion. I know it's hard to say that sometimes, but because of how the stat was at first. But everybody got a weird stat. Charlotte used to lose at WrestleMania all the time. Sasha lost her titles quick. The fact of the matter is, you didn't see just any old body taking that belt off of that title off of Charlotte. And no, you don't see just anybody taking that title off of Sasha. Usually the horsewomen lose to each other, unless they lose to the future GOAT, Bianca Belair. I don't think Sasha done been booked back. And hell, if we want to talk about Bianca Belair, let's talk about her and Bianca Belair main event in WrestleMania. Like, I think it's to me it's wild. If Sasha truly do believe she done been misused, mistreated, and haven't been, booked properly in WWE, then I just think that's wild, because Sasha done had one of the most memorable careers. And not just like because she done a lot of shit you can remember, but like she's been one of the greats, one of the GOATs. Like, she ain't been memorable because she been memorable. She been memorable because she one of the GOATs. You know what I'm saying? That's a different level. That's a different memorable. You know what I'm saying? I remember some motherfuckers because I can just remember shit that they do. I remember Sasha because I remember all that she done. You know what I'm saying? GOAT type shit. So it's very hard for me to buy into anybody pushing this narrative that, Sasha don't get used properly. Look, bro, Sasha could retire today. And I know to some people the WWE Hall of Fame don't mean anything. If that's the case, then you got to say no Hall of Fame mean anything. It's all a matter of perspective. Let people have their shit. Sasha would be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, and when I talk about first ballot, obviously I base it off of the NFL's. You retire 4 years, bam, your first year of eligibility you in. So when I say that, I'm not necessarily saying that for all the other sports, as in like, first 4 years. As soon as you're eligible to be a Hall of Famer, you would be in first ballot. That's Sasha. Whenever they deem Sasha would be able to be a Hall of Famer. Now, I will say this about WWE. Here's the stipulation. When they don't like somebody, or when it's a beef between two people, I'm not taking that into account. I'm saying if they retired on good terms right now, Sasha will immediately probably be into the Hall of Fame next year. I mean, let's just be honest. They would cut her in front of so many motherfuckers, and deservingly so, because Sasha is one of the GOATs of the game. Like, there's no two ways around it. Some of the toughest ring gear. Some of the most crazy ass spots. The greatest counter wrestler of all time. Men or women. And it's not close. The greatest counter offensive move set of all time. And it's not fucking close. Like, Sasha got so many motherfucking accolades, bro. She is an absolute star when she is on the marquee. You throw her on that AEW right now, on that AEW roster right now, she the biggest name on the roster. She the biggest money maker on the roster. Bigger than anybody they got on that roster. That she is her. Sasha is her. So I just think maybe it was some better way. When you are her, I just feel like it's better ways to, figure this type of situation out. Because the only time you walk out is when you not her or when you not him. And that's the type of... Sasha is still her, even though she walked. As is, Naomi is fire, but she not what Sasha is. Like, I love Naomi. I don't want to sound... And anytime you boosting up one person, I know it sound like you shitting on somebody else, but that is not the case. Naomi is great, but we not finna sit here and act like Sasha not a different level of great. Like, come on now. You got Prince, and then you got Michael motherfucking Jackson. You feel what I'm saying? So, I just think, like, you got Alicia Keys, and then you got motherfucking Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. But, I don't think, like, I just think when Sasha is her. So I felt like as the leader, and I done seen the reports where they're like, the locker room they disappointed, and she got major heat in the back. I really think that could all probably come from the fact that Sasha still think like man, I really don't want to sound like I'm taking shots at Sasha, bro. I really don't want it to sound like that. But just being honest, if Sasha truly is a brat, basically, like people try to describe her as, like she's self-centered, spoiled in the locker room, people feel like she, if all the reports basically they done said about Sasha is true, that's very unfortunate. That's very unfortunate because Sasha done been one of the GOATs of the game. Like I said, she done had some of the greatest moments, some of the greatest spots. You would hate for somebody like Sasha to be so fucking great and to be such a piss poor human being, if that's truly the, Now, I'm not going to believe those things because I've never met Sasha, so I'm not finna judge. Now, obviously, I understand if everybody's saying it, excuse me, then they can't all be lying. I get that. I do get that. But I don't want to, because I love Sasha, man. I done watched Sasha's entire career. That's why I'm gonna refute anybody who say she haven't been booked properly. Like that's just buffoonery. You want to talk about somebody not being booked properly? Talk about, cause you can't even, bro. You want to talk about somebody being not booked properly? Let's talk about the Divas era. Okay, it was a lot of women back in that era who were who could have been. Alicia Fox, one of the most underutilized, underused women's wrestlers of all time. She could have been a star, and they just did not know how to use her. If she was Alicia Fox now, if she could reset her career and start off in this era, she would be a star. She'd be a star. There's no way she wouldn't be. Because like most of the ignorant world, they didn't believe that women could be on the marquee, especially sitting so high on the marquee like they are now. If she was, if she had the backing and the, confidence of that the women have now, she would be killing it, because Alicia Fox is better than a lot of the women that are here now. I'm going to tell you who legit, though. Motherfucking Raquel Rodriguez. She is going to be legit. My only thing is, I'm pretty sure she's going to go through a stage where everybody begin to boo her. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen, and I'll get into that in a minute. But basically continuing on to the Sasha Naomi situation. If this really is unscripted, though, let's say this really did happen, I hope they find a way to get over this, get past this, because don't nobody want to see them leave. I hate that they did this, because you lose your championships, something you fought so hard to get, you worked hard to get this. A couple of differences of opinion shouldn't have led to this. You lost your titles without even stepping foot into the ring, without even actually losing. That's and I don't like that thought of these belts don't matter. What? Wrestling is your life. These belts do matter. So to cough them up as no value and just toss them, like these are meaningless, we don't want. What? Like I say, the only reason people devalue championships is how the person who carrying the title value it, and how y'all own history of valuing it value it. Because I value any title big based on who holding it. Because a motherfucker who wants that title to feel big gonna make that shit feel big. But it's very weird when dudes only put forth a strong effort when they have one of the two main titles. A dude who can sell the worst title on the roster can sell the top title on the roster. I'm just telling you right now. And all y'all favorite dudes be holding these lower titles and doing nothing when they get them. I'm still trying to figure out how they cannot figure out a way how to. That's a conversation for a different day. But I'm still trying to figure out this Finn Balor shit, bro. Because I love Finn Balor. I really do love Finn Balor. But I cannot understand how this man cannot break out on the main roster. But I'm almost starting to realize what it is. The level of talent on the main rosters, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, is unreal. It's probably the most talent that WWE done had on their roster in a long time. Being great just ain't good enough no more, bro. You have to be great and different. Being great in the ring can only get you so far. And I understand people gonna be like, well, you need these opportunities in order to, know how good you can be in these moments. And I get that. But that's a conversation for another day. Let's hop back to the Sasha and Naomi thing. But like I said, if this really ain't scripted, I hope they do find a way to resolve this, because tough to lose their titles this way, and they're gonna be suspended indefinitely. I don't even know what that means. That's why I thought it was scripted. But we can only go up from here now. But I refuse to, and I know I'm kind of being a hypocrite, to be completely honest with you, because as much as I hate to admit it, a lot of Sasha This Sasha shit especially, man. I just think Naomi was riding for her partner. That's why I'm really not throwing too much at Naomi, because I get riding for your partner, because if you didn't ride for your partner, you would have lost two things: your title and your homie. But if you, and then if you had stayed, motherfuckers would have been on Twitter talking about, oh, you didn't ride for Sasha. You know what I'm saying? Talking about your career like they would have walked out on their job if they didn't need the money and shit like that. Like, it's crazy to me how many people tell motherfuckers to quit when they know they wouldn't quit. Shit crazy. And you got motherfuckers in their everyday life who can't afford to quit jobs telling other motherfuckers to quit jobs. So they know what it's like when you need a job and they out here encouraging motherfuckers to quit jobs. That's nuts. But I'm not going to, hold Nate. Now, obviously, Naomi is she's a grown woman. She's accountable for her actions, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But she a rider. I ain't shooting down on a rider. She a rider. You know that I'ma die for my motherfucking homies. You know that I'ma die for my motherfucking homies. I be grinding all night for my homies. But listen, I ain't throwing too much her. But I have to admit my hypocriticalism, or whatever you want to call it, because the Sasha shit do kind of mirror CM Punk. Because CM Punk's a bitch. But see, I can admit that I be, I just got a disdain for CM Punk for some reason. Well, it ain't for some reason. CM Punk, bro, go back and look at the motherfucker. Was he had the greatest booking in the beginning? No. But ever since that pipe bomb, that motherfucker had went on a run for the ages for a while. And the motherfucker still was mad when people was coming up trying, like, man, I ain't going into the CM Punk thing, but I ain't gonna lie. When you see somebody who get booked as good as CM Punk was being booked, as good as Sasha done been booked throughout her career, it is kind of rough looking at them saying, oh, I'm tired of booking, I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? That's like if Sasha got up, if Charlotte got up and was like, oh, I hate the way I be booked, I'm leaving. What? Bayley get up, oh, I hate the way I've been booked, leave. What? If Bayley had left when y'all thought she was being booked terribly when she was still a face, Bayley would have never become what she is now. If people leave when you think they're not being booked right, they never get to the point they are when they finally learn how to evolve and get to the point of their evolution, bro. Y'all gotta chill with that shit. But listen, back to damn, I forgot her name already, but Raquel Rodriguez. I think she gonna be a stud. Obviously, she tall. She got a great. I haven't seen her entire moveset, but she had a good match against Ronda Rousey last week. She had a decent little match against Shotzi tonight. Shotzi was sending out fucking shots before the fucking match. Sheesh. I was like, damn, I didn't know if I was impressed or I was like, damn, this a crazy level of hating, bruh. Like, boy, she put her Pat Bev boots on, boy. I'm talking about Shotzi was sending out shots, boy. That shit was pretty nuts. But shout out to Shotzi. That type of shit will get you over real quick with me. I ain't gonna lie, boy. If you can work the mic like that, she was flaming her. And Raquel or Rocky, I gotta remember her fucking name. Double R's. She was standing there smiling. I'm like, I don't like that. That is not a human reaction. And based off of that reaction, it kind of got me thinking she might be booked how they booked baby faces when they first start off. She is going to be booked like a super baby face. And I think people going to start to boo her eventually. I'm not sure yet. Now, just watch out for Twitter, because once the mass WWE universe start to boo her because of no evolution or their character done got stale, they're going to start saying the WWE universe racist. So just watch out for some of those fans. If she start to lose because of bad booking or something, they're going to be like, oh, Vince racist. So just, watch out for that. Now, she is going to be one of the greats. Now, the thing is, I know she's going to be great. I just think it's hard to book, because like WWE just don't do a great job booking new baby faces. You know what I'm saying? They book them so generically, and I also don't like how they be booking motherfuckers like Gunther and who this motherfucker on the other, Veer. Like, I just think the way those two being booked, that shit just does not work, bro. Like, it worked for Braun, but it did not necessarily work for Braun. It worked for Braun because Braun started doing just abnormal shit. Like, Motherfucker was flipping trucks and shit. Plus, he worked with Roman, who I don't understand if people want to realize it or not. No, Roman is one of the best workers in the WWE. Go through all his championship matches since he done become the tribal chief. Every one of them bitches is 10 stars, in my opinion. 5 stars, whatever you want to give it, even though I don't give a fuck about them star shits. They all was phenomenal matches. But Gunther not flipping a truck. I don't care how many times he slapping motherfucker's chest. If he don't slap him to the bones is showing, it's going to take a while to get a pop off of that. You look at Veer, he can, do all this nonsense all he want to throughout the week on, no-name opponents and shit like that. It's not going to move the needle. They got to eventually get out of this way of booking people when they first come up, whether it be faces or heels, bro. These such generic, and for Veer to be the type of person he is, they could have done better with his wardrobe. His wardrobe is trash to me. I don't know why, but he feel like a dude who wouldn't even be wearing boots or nothing. He would just be having his bare feet out, but, nonetheless, I think Shotzi, and I don't know what they gonna do with Shotzi. I feel like they never really use her, and it feel like every time they do, she in like a 2-3 minute match. But that shit talk, she flame old buddy tonight, boy. They gotta give her another spot next week based off of that shit alone, boy. She shouldn't have, bro. She let the clip go. But tonight, the importance of tonight on tonight's Smackdown was the unification of the WWE tag team titles. The unification of those two titles is what was on the line tonight on SmackDown. And RK Bro came in on a high horse. They thought it was sweet, but Roman told them boys, listen. Oos, y'all don't win tonight, there is no bloodline. You're no longer gonna be living on this island of relevancy. You know what I'm saying? The rent gonna be due, and it's gonna be far too much of what you can pay me. Every time you think you done gave me the right amount, I'm raising it $1. Eventually, you'll have no more dollars to give, and you know what that means. You're out. So it was a big night, big fight field, bro. I really got to get the announcer's name for the announcer in the WWE, because she is great. Like, she is phenomenal. Like, I said that at WrestleMania, that she was great at Mania. But Jesus Christ, bro, she was great. Oh, but before I get to this match, I got to talk about Butch and Wood. Xavier Woods is so fucking over, bro. For one, he hit this move called the honor roll. That bit was clean. Almost every single move Xavier Woods hit tonight was clean as shit. Like, almost every move was 100% green. Like, he greened every move he hit tonight, damn near. The motherfucker hit a peck dance outside the ring. Like, this motherfucker Xavier Woods is electric, bro. Like, I love this dude, man. And it's so crazy. And he had the whole crowd rocking, bro. Like, he had the whole crowd chanting, bro. Like, it's so crazy how over this dude is without Big E, without Kof. Like, this motherfucker is over with them, and he is over by himself. Like, this motherfucker Woods is an animal, yo. Mind you, if Big E and the crew, Kof and Woods would have quit back when they first started off as a New Day, getting no reaction, coming out as like gospel mountain on the top of the mountain preachers, then they would have never become the legends and goats they are right now. So that's just circling back to what I had said earlier. But yeah, fucking Xavier Woods, and he beat Butch tonight with the backwoods. The backwoods, one of my favorite finishes, not just for the simple reason it's a hilarious finisher to me, but the fact that it's called the backwoods is just fucking just so clean to me, bro. It's like when Seth Rollins' finisher, the Peace of Mind, was actually called the Peace of Mind, not the fucking Stomp. When it was called the Peace of Mind, that was such a perfect name, because you stomping on his head, putting him unconscious, giving him a peace of mind. The backwoods, so fucking fire, bro. so fire. And like I said, this motherfucker Woods is just electric, bro. Like, this motherfucker got enough energy for everybody in the arena, bro. Dead ass. I'm glad he won too, because he got it, bro. I want them to have him face Roman eventually, bro. Him and Roman would put on such a fucking clinic, bro. Like, I was watching Roman's matches the other day, all his matches since he done become champion, and all of them have been great. He done had some fucking thrillers with Daniel Bryan. He had a fucking roller coaster of a couple matches with who was my man? Not Edge. It's not Edge. I'm not thinking about Edge. It's the other dude. It's not Seth. It's not Seth, and it's not Ray. Why can I not think of this man's other feud? And it was a more prevalent. It's not Braun. It's not when he fought Braun and them boys when he first came back. I don't know why I can't think of this man. Daniel Bryan was one of them, but he had another feud with somebody, bruh. And them matches was absolutely a fucking electric. Oh, Kevin Owens, KO, bro. His feud with KO was fucking electric, bro. So I just know Kevin Owens and Woods give me the same type vibes. Like, for one, Kevin Owens is just, to me, it don't matter how much you praise him, he will always be one of the most underrated GOATs of the game. Like, this dude is just unbelievable. And I also want to tell Kevin Owens, I know that motherfucker is Elias. This motherfucker Ezekiel walk around talking about he Elias' younger brother. Man, miss me with that shit, man. I agree with you, KO. That motherfucker is Elias. Fucking Ezekiel, bro. But that motherfucker KO, to me, will always be underrated, no matter how great you say he is. Somebody could walk up to me and be like, man, I think Kevin Owens is the greatest of all time. And I'm like, man, you underselling that motherfucker. Dead ass. That's where I'm at with Kevin Owens. And Xavier Woods give me them type vibes, bro. Not to the full extent of KO, but, I mean, Woods is a GOAT in his own right. But I'm starting to see how even more of a GOAT he is as a solo artist. Like, he can bring the energy, bro. It just show you he don't even need Kofi and Big E at all times to bring it. That motherfucker is an electric factory in all in himself. But let's get to this tag team championship match. That shit was a banger. You know, Riddle got thrown into the ropes, into the corner turnbuckles, hurt his rib cage. So, you know, they focused on that a little bit. Big spot happened where Riddle hit a knee. You know, Uso got into the match. I cannot remember which one at the moment. And he basically took an RKO. And it was so crazy the RKO he took, because it was like a video game playing like against somebody who done never played WWE, but versus somebody who done been like a thorough experienced player doing a loaded charged up finisher, or what they call it, the finisher where you do the whole taunt and shit and then he hit it. Like, Randy Orton never hits his sequence and then drops down, hits the ground, comes back up and hit an RKO. He never does that anymore. He did that shit tonight, and I was like, this shit like a video game. This motherfucker Jay forgot to push the fucking reverse button, or Jimmy, whichever the fuck one was in there. But they forgot to push the reverse button, and that was very unfortunate. However, like the Usos do, like the ones do, they got in there and broke up the fucking pin by Randy. Randy thought the shit was sweet. Thought he was about to get that big dub. And then at a certain point in time in the match, Riddle, who was flying in this motherfucker at one point in time, when he was on his little what they call it in the game, when he was on his little comeback, he was on the top rope on the corner, and Roman came in and I think threw him off, and then Jimmy or Jay, like I said, I gotta go back and check the tapes, but they hit the splash on him and got the 1, and they got the 1, 2, 3. Yes, sir. Unified WWE Tag Team Champions, as the boys on the Pat McAfee show, champions. The Bloodline, the ones, the ooh. So, hey, some dude named Max Dupree is on WWE Smackdown now, so that should be interesting. Fuck that LA Knight shit, I guess, huh? But I'll be honest with you. As good as this match was, because even like Jimmy J, we're not gonna go through this again, hit like a pump up net breaker. That shit was smooth as a motherfucker. Smooth as a motherfucker. But the ass whooping that RK Bro received at the end of the match, at the afterwards, is what got me. Boy, Roman was unleashed. Boy, he beat the shit out of Riddle, and he beat the shit out of fucking Randy. That motherfucker looked more like Butch than Butch looked like Butch tonight. Like, that shit was crazy. Like, Roman just went full out heel tonight. Boy, he had kids in the audience crying, boy, looking to they pops for some type of comforts and some type of reassurance that this ain't the end for RK Bro, but my little homie, I'm sad to tell you, but I don't know how Randy keep getting caught in these situations where little kids is in the audience crying. I guess that's just a compliment to how he done aged like fine wine. But my boy, you stepped into the island of relevancy, and you got tossed overboard. You got tossed off the island. You wasn't meant to be here, dog. You was just keeping them titles warm for us, cuz. Now, I did say before this match happened, I'm not hating that RK Bro got this moment. I understand circumstances where things are. But they definitely didn't deserve this moment, and they damn sure didn't deserve, in my opinion, to win this match. Now, what is deserve? But I'm not saying that as a shot at them. I'm saying the greatest two tag teams of this generation has been the Usos and New Day. If you having a tag team unification match, that's a WrestleMania match for the Usos and the New Day. It's no doubt about it. That would be the best fucking match on the show, or fighting for the best match on the show. They would absolutely tear the fucking house down. Not to mention, the beauty in this all is you could have Xavier Woods, Kofi, or Big E as the challenger to Roman Reigns. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Big E done had his moment. Kofi done had his moment. I would love for them to stall this story out. Keep those tag team titles on the Usos until Kofi and Big E get fully healthy. All these dudes pray that they can stay healthy, and so you could start that storyline up. And instead of having Big E fight Roman, as I know people think that would be the obvious thing, I think you keep building Xavier Woods so he can be the one that fight Roman, because Xavier Woods is a fucking electric factory, bro. I cannot emphasize that enough. I realized tonight that this dude got the whole fucking arena rocking right now. And I kept thinking to myself, I wasn't like, how is he doing this? Because I understand who Xavier Woods is and what he represents and the New Day and all that. But it was just so surreal seeing him be able to get this crowd off their feet like this without, his brothers there with him. You know what I'm saying? Without something crazy happening, without some crazy spot. Just his energy. From the moment he was talking in the back till he walked out to that ring till he walked back up that ramp, this dude had the fucking arena rocking, bro. And so I think if they set up a few, because I truly do believe, and like I said, that's no disrespect to Randy Orton or Matt Riddle. I understand E is hurt right now, so you couldn't have made that match right now. But I do believe that match truly, like a true unification fight, should be between the Usos and the New Day. Like, I truly believe that, because the Usos and the New Day have held down the tag team division. They have carried that mantle as the two greatest tag teams. In my opinion, they're the two greatest tag teams I've ever seen in my lifetime. Ahead of DX, ahead of the Dudley Boys. Like, to me, these two teams, bro, are just unbelievable. And I believe that a WrestleMania match between those two teams, with the headline being Roman Reigns taking on Xavier Woods, I just think that would be so fucking clean. Could you imagine how the crowd would erupt if that motherfucker beat Roman for one of them titles with the backwoods, bro? After a long, grueling match, that motherfucker just pop out with a backwood out of nowhere. I can't wait to see it. In the great words of a great philosopher named Dave Bautista, get me what I want. With that, I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of Wrasslin with Saint, bro. It's good to be back. Now I got to catch the rest of this playoff game. My Warriors was losing when I last watched them. I got to get back to that. See if we, you know what I'm saying, doing what we supposed to be doing, boy. But I appreciate you for joining me, man. Tell somebody you fuck with him. Tell somebody you love him. Xavier Woods is that guy. Saint out.
Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo.